Ni hao, huan ying. Another story. I'm going to tell this one right after the last one. This one I just chose from the list. This is the most recent story that has happened. This actually happened on Friday. I mean, last Friday. Today's Saturday, but it happened last Friday. So this is the story about doing massive amounts. Well, personally, a lot of cocaine at the Friday Soca Jam. And I was functionally ODing. Nah, I was saying that, but because I was fucking lit, dude. So this story starts. It's a happy Friday, and I'm like, yo. Audio dropout detected. Audio dropout detected. Audio interface renderer error. Okay, try again. Anyway, it's a happy Friday. What am I saying? Okay. I record music, right? There's all these riffs and beats and samples and vocals and ideas all in a thing, and then comes the time to sit with it and edit and move around and cut and paste and EQ and mix and master and produce, and that stuff gets tedious. I mean, there was a time a while ago where I used to work manically on it, and I used to be so excited and just edit all day and record all day, and then I came to a phase where I was like, oh, it's so tedious, and I could never find the motivation to edit, and I would just be like, okay, Devin, you have so much energy, you wanna do it, go edit. And I'd edit for maybe 10 minutes. Holy crap, that scared the poo out of me. That sounded like a freaking animal growling in here. What the heck was that, dude? Holy crap, that was freaky. Anyway, so yeah, and then I'm like, you know what? Let's try coffee. Maybe coffee will help. Drink coffee. No, I just still procrastinate, but I procrastinate on caffeine. And then, I'm like, okay, let's try energy drinks. I remember this is in Japan, and I'm just like chugging energy drinks and trying to edit forest and city and stuff. And I'm like, drank a bunch of energy drinks, still procrastinated, but I just procrastinated energetically. Okay, so, years go by, and it's last Friday, and I'm like, dude, it's the frickin' 80s. I gotta edit some 80s stuff that I recorded because I got some hot stuff in the DAW. And what the hell, man? Might as well just get some cocaine and see if that would stimulate this human life enough to just edit for hours straight. So I cup that 8-ball. I'm like, hey, DD. And he's like, yo, give me an 8-ball. And he's like, I'm coming, brother. Where you at? I'm like, brethren, I'm at that green building. And I'm like, no, fam, never mind. I'm at Timmy's. He's like, I got you. Wait like 20 minutes. Pulls up and he's like, bum ba da bum 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 bum. I get in. He's like, what up, dude? I'm like, what up, bro? You always in a good mood. I'm like, well, aren't you too? And he's like, yeah, man, I try to be. And we're like, damn, homie. And he gave me that 8-ball. I'm like, damn, this looks like the fire stuff. And I don't know how coke dealers run their shit, but I remember like when I was just, I think, a week earlier, was when I was like, a week earlier was when I had the original idea to get cocaine and edit and see if I could just edit and be like, yeah, I'm just going to be like, maybe like an 80s producer would be doing. We'd just be doing coke and editing. So I got that 8-ball the first time, like a week before that, or like 2 weeks before that or something, or maybe 3, like, and I got it, and it was like yellowy, and it was all cracked already. And I remember being like, this was like stupid coke, and I smelled it, and I'm like, it smells like stupid coke. And then there was this other guy with this, I forget his name, but we'll call him, what I saved him in the phone as his, I deleted the number, but because I don't want to have a coke link, you know. Like, I've been working on the 70s and 80s songs for a span of 2 years, like off and on. And like in that span of 2 years, I've gotten like 4 8-balls. And every single time I've thrown like 2.5 grams of it out because like coke fucking sucks, man. When you get into such a high state of natural, free-flowing, blissful, smooth, clear, pure, infinite chi, the term getting high becomes getting low. And that was such a beautiful shift in life when I snorted a line of coke or smoked a joint, and everything just slowed down and gunked up the gears and put sticks in the spokes and stuff. And I was like, wow, I understand not needing drugs. I mean, I never needed drugs, but I understand the how you don't need drugs, and like you could be actually higher without drugs. So coke would like get me lower, and then I would be more wiry. I'd just be like really wiry and lit, but like low. But there'd be something there too that was like confidence would be skyrocketed. So anyway, I get it. I'm like, okay, can I go sit down? I go sit down at the glass desk, you know, have the laptop open. I got the 80s song open, and I put my line up, chilling a bit, you know. I don't get to editing right away. Like, I procrastinate. Like, I don't even know what I do, but like I'll just be sitting there like for like 3 hours doing something before I just like, okay, let's do the first click, the first trim, the first edit. So then I take another one, and I take another one, and these are huge lines. And then, oh yeah, the guy's name in the phone, I think his name was like the crazy North American name or something like that. He told me his name was like something simple, like Dennis or something. And I just saved him in my phone as the crazy North American name. Because I'm like, yo, that's such a North American name. It's like a crazy North American name. Anyway, so he had the link, and he called the guy. He called DD, and DD came, and then him and I got in the car, and I'm like, yeah, I want an 8-ball. And then friggin' DD's like, here you go. Oh, I remember his name now, but I'm not going to say it. We'll just call him Dennis, or we'll call him the crazy North American name. He's like, okay, crazy North American name, thank you. Here's your 2 G's for getting a customer. And I was like, oh damn, this man just got 2 free G's for getting a customer. And he's like, and I'm like, anyway, you guys want a line, bro? Like, if I buy blow and I go sit in the car, I always just ask, you guys want a line? They always say no. Anyway, so but I'm like, yo, peace, bro. And then the North American name, oh no, they don't take the line. No, they don't do that. I'm like, all right, so we go out, peace, bro. He leaves, goes to his apartment, and I walk home. So fast forward back to the present moment where I'm snorting those lines at the glass desk, and I'm on my third, like, I don't know, half a gram line, because I would like search Reddit, and I'd be like, and people would be like, yo, I do like gram lines, dude. And I'd be like what the fuck? And people be like, yo, I go through an 8-ball in like a couple hours, bro. And I'm like, dude, I want to try to experience that, but it would never work, because I would like go through a gram in 2 hours, and I'd throw the entire fucking thing in the sewer, in the toilet or something, because like coke is bullshit. So yeah, I'm on my third line, and it's like been an hour and a half, and I'm just about to take a fourth, and I'm like, when I take my fourth, I'm gonna start editing like nuts. And then my phone vibrates, and I look. Yo, man, I just went through my bag. Got any more? I'm like, bruh. And I did say like, yo, we're gonna do lines tonight. I was telling the North American name. I'm like, yo, we're gonna do lines tonight. Because I was like asking a few people. I was going to bars. I'm like, yo, do you know I get blow? Do you know I get blow and shit? And I finally found that one guy. And yeah, I'm like, yo, bro, like, we're gonna do lines tonight, bro. Like, I was just expecting to, like, you know, share a couple lines with him, send him on his way, and I go back and edit. Anyway, I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, I'm gonna just walk and smoke a joint too, because, you know, when I get blow, I have to get weed. I will not do blow with no weed, because no. So I go on my walk, get my pack of pre-rolls. Now I'm walking, smoking. I get to the building. Yo, psst. I see him. I'm like, what up, dude? All right, let's do these lines. And then we start, you know, sharing lines. Start smoking, talking. And I know I'm annoying. I know. But I can't stop fucking talk. Like, oh my goodness, dude. Like, if I just tried to stop talking, I would explode into talking again. And I'm like, yo, I'm probably fucking annoying this guy, but holy shit. He wants to be with me. He wants to do this coke. Okay. Anyway, we ended up staying up till 2, doing it all and smoking all the joints. And we finished it all. So that was one that I didn't throw, but I still only did like half of it. And yeah. Because there was a certain point where I'm like, I don't feel like going back. Let's just do this all, buddy. Anyway, it ends. Props, bro. Yo, man, call me, man. Not all the time, but you know, if you're gonna do that again, sometimes, you know, let me know. Like, all right, I'm not gonna be doing that. Like, fuck, that much. It's only for this damn song, dude. Like, I don't care about coke. So, what the heck? I get home. And I'm just like trying to smoke weed and trying to sleep. And I'm like, this shit's so stupid. Obviously didn't get to sleep. It was a Sunday. I had to go to work. I'm like, buddy, go to work, whatever. Come off. Try to just sleep again, smoke again. And I'm good. Next 2 weeks pass. I'm like, okay, I'm ready again. I'll get another 8-ball. And I'm going to edit this damn song all day. I'm just going to work on it for hours and hours and hours. And I call Didi, bring that yayo. Brings that yayo and he gives it. And this is what I was saying, like, I don't know if this is what dealers do to like run business or, you know, get customers. But the second one is always like the good shit. Or like, I don't even know. There's been times where I got the good shit the first time. Anyway, so it's like different coke, and it's like white, and it's rock, and it's flaky, and it's iridescent, and it smells like very scentless. And I'm like, this is better stuff than before. So I go back to the desk, set out some Linos, and that last Friday, that's when I searched. I'm like, yo, well, I've searched it before, but I wanted to search it again because I'm like, remind me how fast certain people do 8-balls. And like, I guess it's just Reddit coke addicts who are like, dude, I do 8-balls in a freaking hour, man. And like, okay, I gotta like experience this. So whatever, I do my lines and I start editing. I start editing for 10 minutes. No, I'm done. I can't. I'm done. Nothing's gonna motivate you. You have to motivate yourself. Nothing's gonna motivate you. Not the hardest drug in the world. You're just gonna be demotivated and high. You're just gonna be procrastinating, high as hell on coke. So I'm like, frig it. I gotta go to the studio. I gotta get the adapter for the piano, and I gotta get the mic. So I'm like, call the Uber. Let's go to the studio. Get to the studio. take off the backpack. I'm like, boom, put the adapter in, boom, put the mic in. I'm just gonna bring that stuff home, and I'm just gonna like record at home and in the garage and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in the studio. I'm chilling right now. I'm not gonna just go right back. Let's just do some lines and like F around. I didn't have my recording stuff, so I'm just gonna turn the mics on, play guitar, and just sing the 80s song and just like rehearse it and just jam and find more lyrics and, you know, add stuff. So I'm doing that and I'm doing lines, and then I just start hearing the winding, just like, oh damn, like I can't I'm like, I don't want to friggin' play anymore because this music is a bump, like shaking the country block. And I'm like, dude, it's those guys right there. I open the door of the studio, and it's right there, like 4 buildings down, where there's this like rec room. And I would always walk by, and there's always dudes chilling outside. And sometimes I'd be like, oh, you guys got a lighter? Because I would have like a joint, but no lighter. Anyway, so I'm like, no way. The Soca Jam. And I never knew like they did jams there. Like I knew they did stuff like they have certain events there a lot, but this was the first time I'm like, dude, there's a crazy Soca Jam going on. So I'm like, I'm about to throw this bag out because I'm like lit at this point. There's like lines set up that I was gonna like be going back to and snort and just go back and play and go back and snort and go back and play. So I had like 4 or 5 lines just like set. I'm like, yo, I just do them all. I'm like, I'm gonna go bring this coke to the fucking Soca Jam because fuck this shit. Like people at the Soca Jam are gonna want it maybe. Like fuck. Like I don't want this shit, but I don't want to throw it out. And at the same time, I kind of want to give it to people, but at the same time, like I'm sure people are mature enough, because I always have a moral issue. I'm like, I'd rather throw it out than give it away, because like I don't know if I'm gonna feed an addiction, you know, to someone. Like what if like they take that one line and it's the ruining of their entire life. But then I'm super high, so I'm like, dude, people are strong. Like, bro, they could do a fucking line and like no one's gonna die, no one's gonna get addicted, no one's gonna go into like downward spiral of hell. Like they're just gonna do a line and be like, oh, that was cool, okay, peace, get on with their life. So I'm like, damn, perfect. Get the bag, and there's like probably 2.5 grams still in this shit, and I'm ready to throw it out already. Like I am lit. And I know that sounds weird because maybe there's some coke heads that are like, dude, I do like 4 8 balls and I'm not even feeling it. I'm like, dude, I do 1.5 grams and I'm overdosing. I'm functionally overdosing. So I snort those lines quick, and I just put the thing in my pocket. I shut the thing. I get some beers out of the fridge. I put my pre-roll packs in my bag, and I'm like, I come bearing gifts. Get to the jam. I'm like, yo, what up? There's guys walking. They're all dressed in white. I'm like, yo. Like, what is this? What's going on? Can I go in and shit? And he's like, I don't know, man. And I was like, yo, I got yay and stuff. Like, I got yay to share, not to sell. Like, I don't want it anymore. And I got beers and stuff. He's like, yo, I don't know if they're gonna let you in, man. Anyway, he goes, we get to the front, and there's security there and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is like an actual thing. Like, I didn't know it was like security. I thought it was just like people were just jamming. So they're like, yo, let me check you. They're checking me. And then they're like, look in the bag. The lady's like, beep, finding with the thing. She's like, Lord Almighty. I'm like, I open the bag and it's just beers. Lord Almighty. I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was a chill party, and I'm lit, bro. Like I don't, like every word I'm saying is like mega. Like, like my head is like exploding, and I'm like, oh, it was so weird. I was wired, man. And then she just took the bottles, put them in the recycling bin right there. I gave the backpack back. Okay, cool. She checked me, checked one pocket, and then she didn't tap the other pocket. And I was like, okay, I guess that's cool. They don't care if you bring drugs in, but she was explaining like no bottles because people can hit people with it. But there were other dudes bringing their bottles in, but it was just like for DJs and stuff. Anyway, so she lets me in. Okay, cool. I walk in, and then there's another stop, and the girl's sitting there. Oh, $60 for your ticket. I'm like, what? I'm like, damn it. Like, do you take debit? No. I'm like, damn it. So I walk out. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. And I don't have my debit. I had my phone, but I don't have debit, and the phone doesn't work at the ATMs at the bank. I had a credit card, and I tried that at the debit machine, or I mean, I tried that at the ATM at the bank, and I didn't know the PIN, so I was like, damn. So I'm going around to everyone, like it's dark out, and it's just like a deep Toronto somewhere, and I'm just asking everyone like, hey, going up with folded hands, saying, hey, excuse me, like, can any of you help? There's people like chilling. Certain people are chilling out of their cars. There was I found a lot of people like hanging out around their cars. They're just everywhere. Just a bunch of people who would just have chairs set up around their cars. And I would go to them and I would ask them like, hey, can you guys like help? Maybe one of you can help. And I would explain, because I had this idea. I'm like, if any of you have cash, I will transfer you 60 and then give me the cash. And everyone said no. And I'd be like, and then another idea came, because then they were like, I don't know you from shit, man. Like, so I started to think like, hey, maybe they think it's a scam. Like, I'm trying to think of like, maybe they think I'm gonna like send them 60, but they're not gonna get it, and they give me 60, and like when they find out later on, like I didn't really send them anything, and I was just trying to figure like, I don't think you could do that, because I wanted to like explain, like okay, if people think it's a scam, I need to like go through it and explain exactly that it's like true and it's gonna work. But then I had another idea. I was like, oh, can you like just walk with me to the bank and just like friggin' take money out if you don't have cash? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have cash on me. I'm like, okay, let's walk to the bank. Oh, I don't have my card on me. Bro. Anyway, no one. And then I got another great idea. Why am I asking like blocks away from the jam? Why don't I just go to the jam and ask people there, because they'll understand more? Because I knew I'm like, yo, I probably look like a cracked out person right now asking people. And that's probably like another reason they're not like trusting it. So then I go to the jam and I'm asking dudes, I'm like, yo, can you help with this? Can you help with this? And this one guy comes with the Henny, and he's coming in. He just arrived, right? I'm like, yo, man, can you help? He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna get my girl. She's gonna come in. Don't worry. I'm like, okay. Gets whoever, some guys come out, and like I would see this happen. There, like a group of guys would come out and walk down the street a bit and like grab another guy, and then they would all walk back in. So they would all go in together, and there would be like a +1. So that's what he did. He brought some dudes out. Came like, yo, I got yay, right? Like if anyone wants yay, I'm just like sharing it because I don't want this anyway. Yeah, cool. We go. I'm like, yo, I'm with them. And the security lady's like, are you with them, or is he with you? You know him? And the guy's like, nah. I'm like, you don't know me? He's like, okay, yeah. And then they let us in. But it was funny because the lady wasn't there anymore. They were like, yo, she's not even there anymore, dude. Like, you don't have to pay anymore. She's not even there. And I'm like, oh, sick. So I walk in. And I'm walking with the dude that I just saw who told me, like, my girl's coming. And I was like, yo, like, I got free yay. Like, I'm not trying to sell. I'm just trying to share. Like, I don't want it anymore. Like, I'm fucking lit right now. He's like, yo, sick, okay. So we're just chilling, watching the Soca Jam. People are dancing. And I'm like, yo, I'll be back. And I start going around the party. I'm like, yo, anyone want yay? And I'm asking people. And I would go up to people and I'd be like, yo, like, I have free yay to share. And then people would be like, nah, man. I would, like, step away from me. And I was, like, parting people. Everyone I would go up to ask would part from me. And I was just like, dude. And I'd be like, what? Like, what is it that? Am I that sketchy? Like, why are people like parting from me? Like, I have like an invisible force field pushing people away. So anyway, I go to this one guy at the tables. I'm like, oh, there's tables here. And I'm like, yo, I got like free A. Do you want it? And he's like, oh, you gotta ask the DJ. I'm like, all right. And he's like, yo, calls. And the guy's like, yo, this guy here. Okay. I go up. He's like, go to the DJ. I go to the DJ. I'm like, yo, I got free A to the security guy first. And he's like, oh, go up there. So I walk upstairs. And I'm just standing on the stage at the Soca Jam with the DJs. And I'm looking at everyone like, eh. I'm like, yo, to the DJ, yo, I got free A, right? Like 2.5 grams. Like, I'm just sharing. Like, yo, everyone can have it. Whatever the fuck. I don't know how you're gonna do this. It's like, all right. And like, he's like, yeah. Like, it was like, yeah, he's like agreeing with me. And I'm like, okay. And I'm lit. Like, so I have no idea what, like, how they're gonna do this. Like, I'm just lit. I'm ready to party. I'm like, dude, I'm at the jam. I hardly ever go to clubs or jams. So like, I'm like, people, bro. People. I get so excited when there's a lot of people. I used to be super introverted, but then I got super extroverted. And I love people. I love big groups of people. So he's like, yeah, kind of like agreeing with me. They're like, yeah. He tells the other DJ, like, yo, you guys, cool. How are we gonna do this? And this guy's like, I don't know, man, how are we gonna do this? So I'm just like, yo. So I'm like, yeah, you ready? And like, I look right to my left, and like, crowd came. Like, the crowd, like, kind of, I guess they knew. And they're just like, all chilling around, like, oh, we're waiting for the Yale. I'm like, holy shit, where'd you all come from? And like, I don't know if that's what they were waiting for, or like they were trying to figure out what the hell I was up on the stage for. But I think maybe the word got around, because like, I was pretty like quick, like, hey, who wants it? Because I was like, just zipping around the party. Everyone's just standing still, watching the dance floor, and I'm just like, everyone's dressed in all white, and I'm just like in the paisley, in the purple, green, pink paisley with the freaking bucket hat on. I'm like totally not in soca attire. So then, and there was this one guy, he was like kinged out in the big chinchilla fur jacket. He was the very first man I went to, because like right when I walked in the Soca Jam, all these guys, you know, they're all in their white t-shirts, whatever the heck, and then there's this one guy standing there in the middle, like king man with the big silver and white fur jacket, all white, the fur friggin' hat, sunglasses. I'm like, oh, I'm going right to this guy. I'm like, yo, yay. Anyway, so I'm on stage, and I'm just like, oh, you want it right here? Like, I'm pointing. I'm like, you want it right here? And I'm pointing to his laptop. The flat area right to the right of the trackpad. I'm like, you want it right here? And he's like, kind of like, yeah, agreeing. And I'm like, like the communication was like off, I guess. So then I just like open the bag and I just start pouring it on his fucking laptop. I just pour like half the blowout on his laptop, and this is a fucking lot of blow. And I'm just ready to do a line, and I'm like thinking like they're gonna do lines, and like I'm thinking everyone's just gonna come one by one and just do lines on the fucking DJ booth. Cause like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then he just looks at me, he's like, oh no, put it back in the bag. Not like that. I'm like, all right. So I just start putting it back in the bag. I'm like, all right. And like I'm just waiting for them to, I guess I should have been like, where do you want it? But I was lit. So I was like waiting for them to be like, to say what they wanted me to do with this shit. And he just looks at me after like a few seconds, like, oh, we don't want that. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, I thought you were agreeing with me anyway. Okay, peace. So I just get down the stairs, and the whole crowd, I'm like, dude, this whole crowd was waiting for Ye, I think. And like, they're going to be disappointed. So I start asking them, like, do you guys want the Ye? And they're like, yo, one guy's like, pops always like, yo, we're good, don't worry, go. And he points away somewhere. I'm like, all right, peace. And then I walk up to the guy. I found the group of guys who brought me in. And I was like, oh, I'm smoking a joint. I ask him if he wants some. I stand beside him. He's like, no. I'm like, all right. So then I walk more up to the dance floor, or like more up to the front line where the dance floor is. I'm just watching. And the guy who was like, yo, my girl's coming, like the very, very first guy who was like, I'll get you in. When I told him I would come back for him, he was still standing at the same spot where I said I would come back for him. Because like, he was the only guy who seemed like, yeah, I'm about the Ye, like, I'm about like, not like about like, I'm not like a cokehead, but like, yeah, I'm about it. Cool, yeah, let's like light it up, brother. And then he goes on the dance floor and he starts like soca. Starts like just moving around. And then he just turns around and walks, because there's like the main crowd, and then there's like the DJ booth, and then there's the dance floor. And then behind the dance floor, there was like kind of like a VIP section. So he just starts dancing, and he's looking at me. He turns around and he stands at the VIP section. So then I'm like, okay, that's my cue. And I just walk right up to the soca floor, and I start jamming, dancing on coke. And I just start spinning. And I'm spinning. I mean, I'm using my right leg as momentum. And I just got my, I'm lit, dude. I got my backpack over one shoulder. Whole backpack is open. And I'm just like, bam, 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 just jamming. I'm just going crazy on the dance floor by myself. And everyone's just like, ow. And then the DJ just, I remember I just like, I'm spinning. I'm like moving with the spin, like I'm spinning and like moving. First, like I walk to the edge of the dance floor and I just start spinning and like getting to the center of it while spinning. And then I'm like spinning. And I'm doing smaller spins. And I'm about to start spinning the other way because like I'm like, I need to balance. I'm spinning to the right. Now I got to start spinning to the left and like continue my dance. And right when I'm about to stop spinning and go to the left, the music goes off. I'm like, this man mashed up my thing. And I just turn around and I go to the VIP section with him, like, what up? And I'm just standing there. I'm like, yo, I'm on the VIP section. He's like, yo, brother, like, bring out the big pack. I'm like, what? He's like, big pack. I'm like, I think he's saying big pack, and I think I know what that means, but the music was so loud, so I like didn't want to just conclude what he was saying, because like I was like, I don't know, he could be saying something else. And he's like, big pack. I'm like, oh, big pack. I know what you mean. So I'm like, all right. He's like, yeah, come see what this is, you know, like bring out the big pack, like chill. Because he was like opening his pack of weed, and he's like, yeah, come see what this is, and like, you know, okay. So I turned for a sec to just talk to this guy, because like I'm so talkative. And there's this guy chilling. I'm like, hey, what up, man? Like, you about to ye? We're about to do ye. He's like, oh, no habla inglés, hermano. I'm like, oh. I'm like, and then like I just like disregarded. I'm like, yo, I'm speaking, I'm practicing Spanish because I'm about to live in Argentina. And he takes down his mask because he was wearing like a bandana, a balaclava, and he pulls it down. And right when I'm like, yeah, I'm about to live in Argentina, and then he pulls it back up. And then I'm like, yeah, but like, I'm like, I'm about to get ready, like, to just start talking to him in Spanish, what I know, and like practicing with him. And then I'm like, and I hadn't practiced in months, so I was like, and he was sitting on a chair, so I was like kind of with my hands on my knees, like coming down to his level to like talk to him closer. And then he's like, oh yeah, like cool. Like he kind of like makes like an expression like, yeah, that's cool. And I'm like, but I kind of just forgot everything. Like I only know the stuff, like common stuff, like everyone knows, but like everything else I learned, the intermediate stuff, I just forgot. And he's just laughing about that. And then I start talking about more stuff, and then he just pulls down his mask and gives me this one look. I just like shake my head and like, okay, he doesn't want to talk. So I stand up. And there's this guy in blue, pure blue and a blue face mask and a blue hat and a Blue Jays jersey, came in the jam randomly, and he's just looking at me all the time. And he comes running on the dance floor, and he goes, pa. He runs like that Gears of War crouch running, with a gun to my legs, to me and the guy who was speaking Spanish. And then we're just like, yo, what up? Dap up. I'm like, yo, man, what up? And then like I was about to go back to the dude and like give him big pack and see what's good over there. I mean, like he was literally like one foot to the left of me, and then like I was just talking to the guy right next to the right of me, and then the guy with the all blue came up. So everyone's in white, and there's one guy in blue, and I'm like, yo, this VIP section, a lot of the people were just wearing random clothes, right? But like the opposite section, like the crowd section, everyone was in white. So yeah, that blue guy comes up, and you know, we shake hands. We're like, what up? And I'm like, yo, are you about yay? We're about to do yay. And he's like, yo, yay? Yo, does it look like I do coke? And I was like, maybe. Like, does it look like I do coke? I was like, I don't know. And he's like, so why are you asking me if I want coke? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm just asking everyone. He's like, does it look like I do coke? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, so why are you asking me if I do coke? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm asking people. And he's like, but does it look like I do? And we just got in a loop like that. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, it's one of these loops. And I'm way too high to like just end it. Like I need to continue with him. like we need to continue talking. Like I'm like, no, we need to like finish the conversation. Cause like, I gotta get the big pack. Like I'm trying to like be like, yo, I gotta get the big pack, man. Like chill, man. Like, I don't want to keep talking. You just keep asking this. So I'm trying to change the subject, right? I'm like, yeah, because no, like I'm doing this 80s friggin' thing, this Time Machine album, and I'm in the 80s and like blah, blah, blah. He's like, yo, but does it look like I do coke? I'm like, I don't know, dude. No. He's like, so why are you asking me if I do coke, if I want coke? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I guess you don't want coke. I won't ask you anymore. And first he came up, he's like, I own the property. And I was like, oh yeah? Okay, cool. And right when I said that, right when I was like, okay, I get it. You don't want coke. I won't ask you anymore. And I'm about to turn to the left and just go to the guy and bust out the big pack. Because I'm just like, dude, I need to turn. But like when I was so high, I felt bad to like just like turn around and just like disregard him. I just wanted to like end the conversation smoothly instead of just like, all right, shut the fuck up, bye, I gotta go to this guy. So anyway, right when I said, okay, I won't ask you anymore, he goes, yo, kick this guy out. And I was like, oh my God, bro. And then I'm going through calculations beyond omega theta chi to find out the perfect combination of words and actions and breathing, the perfect combination of life force to not get kicked. I'm like, what is the perfect thing to say or to do to change everyone's mind, or to change this guy's mind to not try to get me kicked out? And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. I'm just like, be like, yo, bro, chill. But I'm like, I'm not even gonna say that. Like, I'm just standing. I'm looking at him. I'm just like, dude, really? And then like security guard comes up and he's like, let's go, man. I'm like, my God. So I finish my joint. My joint's like just on the last toke. And like this guy was like so like he was telling the other guy, because it was like in the VIP section there was like a table right beside the big pack man. And he's like whispering to me, he's like, oh, this guy has yay, right? Like this guy has yay. And I see his expression, he's like, oh, his eyes widen, like, oh shit. And then, but yeah, so I'm getting kicked out. I'm like, so I'm walking, I look at the table, I'm like, is there an ashtray? Like I'm about to stick my roach in there and just leave. Like that's like whatever. And I just hear King in the crowd. I'm like, out of here, man. Escorting me out because I'm acting a fool at the Soca Jam. Like I get kicked out within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, I'm on stage pouring coke on the DJ's laptop. I'm in the VIP section of the dance floor, and I'm getting kicked out by like a guy dressed in blue because we were having a conversation after we dapped each other up, and then like it was a loop, dude. And I remembered, like I've been in those conversation loops like back in the day with people. So I was like, that was a blast from the past, man. I haven't been in one of those weird loops for a long time. Anyway, so I was walking out, and there's like this blue guy is following us, and then the big pack guy gets away, and he's like, what the hell? And he's like starts coming to, and like I'm getting kicked out, and he stops at the corner. I'm just like, I look back, and I'm like, I don't know, bro. I put my hand up like to like kind of gesture like, yo, come, I'll give you the yay. But like he's just like, what the fuck? And he turns around, he's like, the fuck? Anyway, so I'm like outside of the jam now. I'm just like, well, I just got kicked out, and like I didn't want to go back in, because I was like, I don't know, that guy's gonna be like, I thought I told you to leave, bro. And like I felt like I could have probably went in and just be like, no, chill, bro. But like I was like, fuck it. So I started asking people outside. I'm just like outside of the club, and I'm like asking everyone that like I see, I'm like, yo, do you guys want this yay? Do you guys want this yay? Everyone's like, no. And bruv, like I'm OCD lit, and I'm like, I was just about to get rid of this shit, and then I got kicked out, and I'm like, I have a mission to do now. Like I need to get rid of this stuff. Like I don't want to throw it. Like I don't want to throw it now. Like I need to get rid of it. Like I'm cheesed. Like I wasn't cheesed, but I was just like, no. Like I need to fucking get rid of this stuff. Like I need to give it to someone, or like get it to that guy over there, and get it to the guy who was just about to get it. So no one wants it. And I'm just staying outside this club, walking around. Oh no, right when I got kicked out, I turned to the left, and there's these two dudes just talking. And I'm like, oh, these guys might want it. And like as I start walking up to them, I can tell they're freaking like rolling. I'm like, oh, these guys might want. I'm like, yo, I got yay. Do you guys want yay? They're like, gay? I remember a lot of people said that. Like, I'd be like, yo, I got like free yayo. Do you want yayo? And people be like, are you gay, yo? I'm like, no, yayo. Like, oh. And they're like, yeah, maybe. And it's trippy when you're on yay because like communication is weird. So I think they were on yay or Molly, but it looked more like a yay. And like they were like, yeah, we want it, kind of. But then like I never ended up giving it to them because I don't know, just didn't happen like that. But like there was this one guy just standing beside us and he was just chewing a toothpick. Because I think those two guys got kicked out too. It looked like. Because right when I got kicked out, I turned to my left and I saw them too. And the guy, and one of them turned around and looked at me. And I started walking right up to him. And then he kind of turned around, back to his friend, and was like, yo, like saying like, yo, he's coming, or like, yo, someone's coming. So I think they were like, yo, like one of the managers or one of the dudes are coming to like kick us out more. I don't know if that's what it was, but because then I started like talking with them and like, yo, I do music, and like we're showing each other our music and shit. And he's like, yo, I just got into this, like I'm trying to invest in my boy, like, yo, we want to try to make him famous and stuff. I'm like, yo, it's all of, he's like, teach me everything you know, like I need to know. I'm like, dude, like everything's available to you, like no matter what. And he's showing me a song, like, yo, that's sick, that's like radio ready, dude, like that's literally like a new sound people would fuck with. You just gotta like kind of like force it on people, like you just gotta like play it all the time and people will be like, yeah, I like that. Like that's all it is. But then there are music that's just actually like no one's gonna F with. And there's music that's just like, it doesn't matter how much you don't market it, people are gonna find it because it's that sick. Anyway, so I'm talking to these guys and these guys like, yo, do you know like a back way to get in and shit? I'm like, yeah, I just got kicked out and stuff, but like I know a way. Like I was just there and I was watching people, or like I was just trying to find ways in. And I saw some guy jumping over a fence where I was. I got in this area, but I didn't hop a fence. But then like I was alone there and I could see the jam and I'm like, I could go hop that fence, but I'm not gonna. And then I just hear the fence behind me go, and I turn around, there's just one random dude and he hops and he goes, I'm like, and then he hops the other one. Like with all. So anyway, I'm like, yeah, I'll show you that place. So I start walking with this kid and his boy stays behind, but I'm walking with this other guy and I'm talking to him, still talking to him. And he's like, yo, so where's the entrance? I'm like, oh crap, I'm so high. Like we just walked, bro. We just kept walking. I'm like, yo, it's all the way back down there. I'm way too lit. And he's like, yeah, my boy didn't come. I'm like, why didn't he come? Is he scared? And he looked at me like, fuck. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he thinks I'm like too sketchy or doesn't trust me. And he's like, yo, I found a place. So I get there and like he like goes back to his boy and I'm like kind of like split off from him and just ask a few other people that are walking by. They said no. And I get to this fence and I turn right to the left, and right when I turn, I just see that same dude and he's just going under a fence, looking at me, smiling, and he just disappears under the fence. I'm like, okay, I guess he got into the party. And then I turn to my right and his other boy's there and he's like looking at the fence too, and he's like, yo, where did my boy go? And I'm like, dude, you're literally right beside me and you're staring at the fence. I'm like, he just went under the fence. Didn't you just see that? Like it seemed like he was like tricking me, like, where did my boy go? Because he's like looking at the fence right where he went under. He's like, yo, where did my boy go? Pulling out his phone. I guess maybe he just missed him go under, but because I like almost just missed him. I saw him like a glance smiling at me and he just went under. Anyway, so he went under too. And oh, I forgot to mention that this one part before, when I got the bottles taken away and I had to go get the $60. There was a point when I was asking people, and there's this one guy, and I'm like, yo, he kind of looked like disheveled. So maybe he was, I don't want to say homeless, but he looked more disheveled, middle-aged man. And like asked him to do that thing with the $60. And he's like, no, I don't have any cash, man. Does it look like I have cash? I don't even have anything, man. I'm like, I just want a beer, man. Oh no, I was like, well, I got joints. Do you want joints? Because I was also asking people, I was like I had the joints, had the beers, and I had the, yeah, and I'm like, I got gifts, like who wants beers, who wants the, I got, and I asked that one guy, I'm like, yo, do you want a joint? And he's like, nah, man, I could use a beer though. I'm like, oh, yo, I got beers over there, like I'll bring one. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I was going to that party, and then like they took my beers away, but I'll go bring one. I'll bring one too. He's like, oh, really, man? Thanks. I'm like, yeah, wait right here. I'll come back. He's like, you really are? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, wait right here. And I'm like, I'm going to be back in 5 minutes and just give this guy a beer. But because I'm friggin' lit, I just went off asking more people, and like an hour passes, and I'm like, oh crap, the fucking guy is waiting for the beer. So I go run, I get a beer. Or no, I don't get a beer. I just run back really fast because I'm like, I'm going to go tell him, like, sorry. And he was gone. And I was like, damn. He thinks I just left him. Anyway, back to me outside of the club. It's not even a club. It's just like this jam was outside in the backyard of like a rec room. And they have like flea markets there sometimes. Because the next day they had a flea market. It was just a flea market. Oh no, the Sunday they had a flea market. I think sometimes it's a church too. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm just asking people, and like I could tell I'm being annoying now. Like I'm just like annoying people now, and I'm like famous now because like everyone's like, this guy. Everyone knows that this guy's on coke and running around asking everyone and like just being a nuisance and making people laugh and making people cringe and making people say what the hell and making people laugh or inspired. I don't know what the heck I was doing. Everyone was inspiring and I was inspiring all. I don't know. I just needed to talk to people. I needed to be around people and stuff. And like, dude, the confidence was crazy. Like nothing could shake me. It was trippy. That's why I was like I was functionally ODing, but like to a veteran coke user, the amount of coke I did that night was all bitch shit. But I'm like, dude, if you do an 8-ball in 2 hours, like you must do stupid shit, because like I was fricked, and coke makes you whack. Well, maybe it doesn't make you whack. It can make you be anything. It like takes something away, but it also adds something. It's just better to not be on coke. But sometimes, you know, drugs are fun as a tool to experience something and then learn from it. But you don't need to even do that. But life is fun, so just have fun. And so there's this one dude, and I'm always going back to his car because he's just chilling there in his car, and he's a cool dude, and I'm just like talking with him. He's like, yo, fam, like I don't want you here because like we're loitering and the cops come and stuff. I'm like, oh man. I'm just like so like sketchy. I'm not sketchy, but like I'm like bouncy, right? Like I'm just kind of like antsy, moving around. Like, no, like I want to chill with you, bro. Like I need to be with. Like I want to talk to people. And it's like, nah. I'm like, dude. Like the cops aren't gonna do anything. Like, bro. Like don't fucking worry about police, bro. They're not gonna come here. He's like, fam, just leave, bro. I'm like, fine. And I like walk away. But I'd always go right back to that guy and just be like, yo, and he'd be like, what did I say, fam? Like, you can't be here because of cops. I'm like, fine, bro. And I just walk away. And I'm like, go stand at another car and shit, like, beside him, and just drinking my beer, smoking, whatever. And like, then I would just like, you know, walk around, start leaving, and then like start talking to girls, and like, I'd see like bums, and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I have to go talk to you. And I'd go talk to them, and I wasn't about the bum, but I was gonna like ask them if they want. Maybe I was about the bum. I was gonna chill with them, but like I was so high, so extremely social that like I felt like a dog catching a car, and like, you know that saying, you wouldn't know what to do with it. Like I would get to the girls, and then like I would just like straight up walk them, like, cause like I would keep going back to that same guy. Like I would like loiter still, not close to him, but like sometimes I'd like inch close to him, like, dude, like don't worry, we're boys. And like girls would walk by and he'd be like, hey, and like kind of call them, and they'd be like, let's go. And he goes, turns on, like, whatever, bro, I'll go by myself. And I walk up to them, and like, in their heels, and they're dressed in white, and there's bums and the white tight freaking pants, and I'm like, hey ladies, and they turned around. I'm like, dude, I'm way too high to even freaking function right now. I'd be like, yo, so I'm doing this album. I'll just start talking about the album, and I'm like, oh, I don't even want, like, I'm like, and I'd be like, yo, what are you guys doing after, like, because the jam's, I'm not going back to the jam, and the jam's about to end, and they're like, oh, blah, blah, we're just gonna go home, I'm like, whatever, and like, if I wasn't high, it would be better. Everything would be better if I wasn't high. But then again, I don't know. Everything was freaking awesome because I was high. so yeah, whatever. I do that to like a few different girls, but they're all going home. I had a few nice conversations with girls and they would listen and stuff, but I was just way too high to like do anything after that. So finally, I'm just like sitting on the curb, smoking my joints, drinking. And then I go up to that other guy and he's like, fam, like, stop. What did I say, bro? Like, I don't like niggas. I'm like, fine. Like, man, I want to chill. And then I walk up to the other car. And I start drinking a beer. He's like, yo, fam, you have a lighter? I'm like, yeah. This is my new lighter. I just bought it. He opens his beer with it. I'm like, all right, let's go. Open his beer. Let's chill. Starts drinking. I'm like, yo, what is that? It's like, it's nothing special. Don't worry about it. I don't know, I'm drinking some 7%, bruh. He's like, all right, good night. I'm like, man. And then I just go sit on the curb again. I'm like, people are, and then like it's kind of like ending now and people are leaving. I'm like, oh, you guys chilling? Any group of people that walk by, like, you guys chilling? Hey, yo, you guys chilling? Because like I just wanted to chill with people. Like I just wanted to like join a group of people and just do whatever the fuck they were doing that night. But then I'm realizing it's like late because then like I go to another guy. I'm like, yo, do you guys want yayo? And I just hear behind me like 2 a.m. bro. I'm like, oh shit! Like that's how freaking high. Like you were just unaware of shit. Like cocaine is a vasodilator or vasoconstrictor, so it like constricts your blood vessels. So like I could feel everything like just tightening. Not tightening, but like you could feel your basically tightening. Not like in a bad way, but like you could feel like everything just like not being as efficient as if you weren't high. Anyway, so when I heard that it's 2 a.m., I'm like, oh my God, who the fuck wants coke at 2 a.m.? I'm like, yeah, you're correct, dude. Like, thank you for mentioning that. And then I just stopped asking people after that. And I was just asking like if people are chilling after that because I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing coke anymore either. Holy fuck. Well, I wasn't going to do coke anymore either. I was trying to get rid of that shit. Anyway, so then everyone starts, then it's like really pouring out, then it's like really ending. And I go up to this one guy, the guy who like helped me in before. And I see him, I'm like, hey, what up? Yo, you chilling? He's like, no. He like shakes his head and gets in his car. He's like stop. Like shaking his head like, yo, stop. Like, you're fucking going crazy right now. And I'm like, damn, bro. And he just drives away. I'm like, all right, peace, bro. Like, and then like finally just ka in the air, and it's like now it's over. Now it's really over. So now there's just people chilling outside, and I'm just like, whatever. Yo, you guys chilling? Nobody's chilling. No one's like, yo, get the hell out of here, dude. And then there's these two guys, and those two first girls that I went to go talk to get in a car, their car, and then two guys come to the passenger, and one guy comes to the driver, and they're just all like chilling, talking, like, yeah, we're gonna pick you up tonight, kind of thing. And then I'm just talking to them like, yo, you guys chilling? And I think maybe I did ask that guy if he wants the yayo. He's like, nah, man. Oh, and I was like because I didn't want to ask people for, I don't think I asked him for if he wants it. Maybe I did, but after someone said it was 2 a.m., the next thing was like, I'm telling everyone about the Time Machine album. So like I'll be like going to everyone's car and like looking in, like, yo, you chilling? Like, I need to talk to people. People are pulling up, and I'm just like, yo, what up? Like right when they pull up, I'm just like, yo, what up? The fucking right at the door, and the guy's like, yo, I'll be back, bro. Chill. And like the passenger gets out with a cigarette, and he's like talking to me and stuff, and everyone's like, oh, this man. And I knew how annoying I was being, but like I just couldn't stop talking, dude. If I tried to stop talking, I would just start talking again. And I'm like zipping around, pew, 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 one side of the parking lot, the other side of the parking lot, pew, pew, everywhere. And then this guy's like, yo, go to your studio and get your mic. Yo, trust me. I'm like, fine. Like, everyone was trying to say, like, yo, that guy's over there doing lines, bro. Like, trying to get me to go away. And I just look, I'm like, he's not. Because, like, these two, like, big cop security guard guys, like, undercover guys came out. And they're, like, talking to that one guy who kept telling me, like, yo, stop loitering near me, fam. The cops are going to come. And they were talking to him, and he was, like, rolling weed at his car. And I think he was just kind of like, oh, no, like, that guy. I don't think it was, like, snitching, but, like, people caught wind that I was, like, a freaking menace at that Soca Jam. But, like, no security guys came to talk to me. But yeah, so I'm talking to this one guy, and he was really, like, talking about the music with me, because he understood, because he did it. I was like, yeah, you do music too? He's like, yeah. So we kind of got it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this Time Machine album, and, like, I got to do songs from every decade, and I got to, like, you know, be limited to certain production techniques and all that. He's like, yeah, I get it. Anyway, and he's like, yo, I think that guy's over there doing lines, yo. I'm like, push it up. I'm just like, no. Like, I'm not, like, I'm high, but I'm not freaking, like, out of my shit. Like, I am out of my shit, but, like, I know he's not doing lines over there, bro. Anyway, so then, yeah, he's like, yo. So then the other guy's like, yo, go to your studio. Trust me. Because, like, I was just chilling with them. Because they were, like, there was only, like, a few groups of people chilling after that. Like, everyone was gone. Like, it was really late. Like, I remember these girls, when I was talking to them, I was, like, explaining to them, like, yo, I was doing coke for the album. And, like, I hate this stuff. And I came here to do it, or to give it to people. And, like, you know, like, telling them about, like, CBD oil is so cool. And then I'm like, I went to church, and, like, that's when I figured out, like, what CBD oil actually does, because I was like, oh crap, like, I actually don't care about, like, because I used to be, like, really introverted, and, like, groups of people would, like, I'd be like, I don't want to be in groups of people, or, like, family get-togethers and stuff. But then, like, after that, CBD oil, I went to church. First, I didn't know what I was doing. I took it an hour before church. I'm like, I don't know what it's doing, but, like, it's doing something really subtle. And then when I went to church, I'm like, and I sat down, and I was like, oh, that's what it's doing. Like, that's what it's doing. Like, I'm so chill, and I wanted to talk to people and stuff. And so this is another thing I'm telling people. I'm like, yo, I have a secret though too. CBD oil, bro. Like, you gotta try it. Anyway, so when the guy's like, yo, go to your studio, get your mic, just trust me, get your mic, yo. Like, leave us alone. Like, we're trying to, like, wheel and shit. Like, I was, like, cock blocking. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I start walking to the studio, and, like, there's cars following and people following. Like, oh my god. I'm like, yo, go to the studio, bro. Like, okay. And I go up the stairs, go in the studio, put my mic in my bag, put whatever the heck in my bag, and go back down. When I start walking back, and then there's a car in the parking lot of where the studio is. It starts backing out, and I, like, duck down again. Like, I'm gonna talk to them, like, yo, you guys good? Yo, you guys good? And they're like, bro, because then, like, oh no, first I'm talking to those dudes at the car who were talking to the girls, and they're all dressed in white. And then I see, they're like, yo, where's your studio, bro? I'm like, over there. Because I kept, like, mentioning the studio to everyone. I'm like, yo, I'm making this song, or making these albums. Anyway, and I turn, and there's guys walking, and they're all dressed in black, and they're walking to the studio. And I was like, I'm too high to give a fuck. I'm just like, yo, you guys chillin'? And they turn around, and one guy turns around, looks at me, and just pulls down a mask, and I'm like, oh my, whatever, bro, do whatever. Like, bro, I don't even care, dude. Like, I'll buy you guys studios, like, in 10 years, dude. Like, I don't even care. so I'm just like, whatever, and I just sit down, and I'm talking to this one dude. Oh no, before that, I'm talking to this one dude, because there's 3 guys, but then 2 guys were talking to the 2 girls. So then their one friend kind of stepped to the side and was just like, so I'm like, he's open, I'm just gonna go talk to him, because he's like, I guess he don't want to, like, butt into how they're wheeling. So I'm just talking to this guy about God. Like, those 2 guys are getting their girls, and me and this guy are going off about the Lord. And I'm explaining to him just, like, what has worked personally, and like what was super enlightening personally and super powerful. And I'm like, yo, make a point. Everything's in that point. Just vacuum it in your heart. And I'm explaining all this stuff. And like, life is just making it how you want. And I was like, what is life about? Life is just about out and about. That was an idea I had. And I was like, then I heard this other idea. And someone said like, life is about making it exactly how you want, like living the exact life you want and being as happy. So he's like, yo, that's pretty cool. Anyway, he goes off, and then like I walk with him. Oh, because then I start talking about, I'm like do it in your heart, your forehead, and your dick. Right when I said dick, his friend's like, yo, come. He's like, oh, I'm coming. And I'm like, whatever, bro. Right when I said the dick, they're like, dip. So then that's when the guys in black walked behind me, and I looked. I'm like, yo, you guys chilling? Like, reach. Like, I was trying to like make crowds. I was trying to like make a group of people, like trying to start another party or some shit. Like, I was way too high, dude. And then so I'm like, okay, whatever, fucking go. I don't care. Like, I know we're blessed. So like, I know we're blessed. So like, I don't want to think you're gonna do anything. I don't think like you're gonna rob anything. So then I just sit down beside that car, and I'm just drinking my beer. I'm like, whatever. Like, I'll just chill beside these people. And then oh no, when I get to this, I forget, when I walk up into the studio to get my stuff, I go to the bathroom to check the mirror, and yo, there's coke on my freaking mustache and in my nose. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what I look like the whole fucking time. And I'm like, is that why people were like dispersing from me every time I walk near them? I was like, bruh, I look like this the whole time. Oh, so I wash it off, and I walk outside, and I go back to this. I'm like, yo, you guys are not boys, bro. I'm like laughing, like, you guys are not boys. Like, no one told me I like look like a crackhead, bro. And they're just shaking their heads like, bro, shut the heck up. And then I'm like, whatever, bro. And I just sit next to them. And no, that's when the dudes came. I was like, yo, you guys chilling? And he pulled on the mask, whatever. I'm like, whatever. I just sit beside this car. I don't even care. Holy, that's like a wolf is growling. That's this Tesla, I guess. Every so often, this Tesla goes. It sounds like there's an animal in here about to. Sounds like a coyote. Yo, this one's a long one, eh? I was gonna do parts, but let's just leave it. Maybe we will do parts. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna do parts. So I just sit down in front of the car at the curb and just let them talk, and like I think the other guy's just in the back seat chilling, and I'm just drinking my beer beside them. And then I hear the one guy beside me, he looks to his left, because all the studio's to the left, like three buildings down, and he just screams, he's a Christian. I was like, ah, cool. He just like, I was like, I think he just like yo, that sounded like the Soca Jam was ending. The computer died. Yeah, so I'm just like, oh, whatever, like, do it. I don't even care. Like, I'll buy you guys whatever the heck you want later. One day. Whatever you guys go in there and want to steal, I'll buy you another one. And even more. So, but I wasn't thinking that at that time. I'm just thinking that now, thinking it's funny to say that. But at the time, I was just kind of like, I had this like ultra I had this extravagant knowing, just this extravagant confidence that I'm just like, the truth is like, they're not gonna do anything. Like, they're not gonna go in there and like try to rob it. They're just kind of like I had this extravagant knowing that they would know. It's just like, no, that's not someone we robbed. Like, he was actually like he was Cool dude, but he's like really high. I just had this knowing about that. So anyway, as I'm sitting on that curb and I just silently drinking and I just go, hey, yo, do any of you know like producers or anything like I could collab with? He's like, yo, stop capping. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, nah, cause like I always just make everything alone, but like I wanna start collabing and stuff. I was just explaining, and they're just like, oh, be quiet. They're not being mean. They're just like, dude. No one was mean. It was all chill, but people were just like, God, this guy's lit, bro. And I'm like, I know how annoying I'm probably being, but I cannot stop talking, and I want to be around people. So anyway, I just get up and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go find people who maybe know. I say that, I'm like, all right, good night, guys, and they go, peace. So I start walking, and I see the other guy who kept telling me stop loitering. I was like, oh, peace. And then there's this one point in the night outside where I was walking around, I just hear, it's Devin, this guy Devin. Like everyone just knew everyone freaking got wind of Devin. That kid Devin going crazy. Hold on. It's super dark in this garage and I got my flashlight and phone back screen just bumping. And where were we? So I start walking and I see dudes sitting on the curb in between two delivery vans. And I'm like, oh, it's the guy who was going under the fence and stuff. And I remember like when the Soca Jam was ending, like that same fence, there was this big fat mama lady. She came out with her headpiece on. She walked to that fence and just stood there with her arms crossed and watched it. Because like I guess like a lot of people were trying to sneak under that. And I went up to her and I'm like, yo, do you want EA? So wait, I can't even. Oh yeah, that was before someone mentioned it's 2 a.m. Oh, that was so funny. I just hear behind me, it's 2 a.m. Holy. Yo, people are the greatest. Everything is the greatest, man. Everything is the ultimate, beyond even ultimate. So anyway, it's 2 a.m. Stop asking people if they want EA. So I'm like, it's the dude who's freaking under the damn, yo, what up? And I go touch his shoulder, like, what up, G? And he turns and it's not him. And I'm like, oh, damn, I thought you were the other guy. Well, whatever. And I just sit there and I don't even, and it's like, and there's two other guys there chilling with him too. And it was the two guys who helped me in, like all the way back at the beginning. And I'm just like, I just sit down on the curb next to him and just start chatting to him. And I remember being like, I should ask these guys if like this is their seat, but I just remember like, fuck that. Like I'm just lit. Like none of them are sitting, so I was just like, I don't think it is their seat. So I was just talking to him and I'm like, pull out the mic. Like I went to the studio and I got this mic. I had to get this mic because like, you know, sometimes I just start explaining like, you know, I'm singing, but I don't like my parents to hear and stuff, so I bring it here. And like I feel like, and then these two other guys are just like giggling, like laughing, and they're behind me and stuff. And they're like moving around behind me, and I just like start putting my hand like, because I think they're gonna like do something like hit me. So I'm just like putting my hand behind me, like still talking to the guy, but I'm like putting my hand out behind me, like talking to the guy beside me. And then he's like, so Devin, you have a wife or a girlfriend? I'm like, yeah, I have a wife. You know, I had a wife. He's like, yo, what happened? I'm like I didn't want to get into it, but he's just like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, like, you know how it goes. Things go weird. So then he's like, yo, are you like straight or gay or bisexual? I'm just like, the frick? So I'm just like starting to get like technical in my mind, and I'm like, well, you know, like I was gonna start like going like, you know, like, I don't know, I'm open, like I'm not like retarded, like I don't suck dick, but like it's like I'm not scared, like I'm just like I was gonna just say like I'm nothing, like I don't know. And he's just like, are you gay? like says it again more sternly. Like I'm just like, okay, well, bisexual. Like I just say bisexual. But then I was gonna keep going like I've never like done anything. I was gonna be like, cause like technically like we're like you were made by a man and a woman, so like you are a man and a woman, so like you are bisexual, but like doesn't mean you have to go suck dick. Like I'm not gonna go out of my way to suck a dick, but like I'm not scared. Like I'm open to life, man, you know what I mean? But like I don't want to sleep with a male. I don't even want to have sex with a girl if she had sex within a month, because like I'm like, ew, my dick's gonna be touching like some other guy's dick that was just there, and that's gay to me. So anyway, so I say like bisexual, and I'm still putting my hand out because like I see like pylons. I see these guys holding pylons at my peripheral. I'm like, oh my god, these guys, I don't know what they're gonna do, and they're like giggling and stuff. But like the vibes felt like it was like just boys. Like I'm like, I know these are cuzzos. Like I don't care. Like they're just fucking around. And I'm just like, but like I'm like bisexual, but like I've never like blah blah blah. And then I just hear you fuck, and then like a pylon just like hits me in the bottom of in like the lower back. I just get up, and I start backing up. I'm like laughing and like yo, you fuck with man. And like one guy throws a pylon at me, and then another guy chases me and throws a pylon, and then like this guy comes and just kicks me in the legs. And I'm laughing, running away. Like I'm like laughing, like they're just chasing me with pylons. Like you fuck women. Like they're laughing too and shit. And they're just whipping pylons at me, and like I like run and like jump through these two street poles that are like really close to each other. It's like these three, a wooden pole and a metal pole, and then like that yellow cord thing, that yellow thing that covers the electrical wire. It's like right there. So like I kind of like see that, and I just like weave through it, and like the two pylons like hit the poles, and I'm like, my plan works. But then they still chase me down the street a little bit and just like whip it, and like one hits me in the ass. I'm like, and I was trying to explain to them well, I'm not gonna explain that. That's a secret. Anyway, so then they go, I'm like, yo, like I'm not actually gay. So then I turn and so then I just go back, and there's the last group of people is like. They were like the second last group of people up the parking lot, and then like the very last group of people, it was just these bunch of girls at this burgundy van, and the side door, the door was just slid open, and they were all just a bunch of these mamas just chilling. And then so I just walk up to them, and I'm smiling like, yo, those guys are throwing pylons at me. I'm like, they asked me if I was bisexual, and I said or they asked me what I was. I'm just like, I'm just bisexual. And then as I'm talking to these girls, this guy, big muscly man in a black tank top and a burgundy silk do-rag, busts around the back of the van with a penny bottle in his hand. He's like, yo, you want this? Yo, you want this? He starts walking to me like aggressively, like he's gonna bottle me. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no. And then I just like, and then one of the girls is like, don't hit him. And I just like, I'm like, no violence. And I turn around and I say, no violence. And I like put my foot on the ground, and I just like stand on the ground, and he just like, my foot does this weird like, because like as I try to turn around, my foot like catches my, like I'm like slowly just like no chill, and like my foot catches my like heel and kind of does like my foot like looks like a spaghetti, goes and then like I stomp it on the ground really sternly, not like stomp it on the ground, but like it goes from like a spaghetti leg, and I'm just like boom, rooted into the ground. And I just look at him, and he's looking at me, and he looks at my leg, and I'm just like looking at him, and like, because like we both like had a mutual understanding, like, did you just see my leg do that shit? Did you just see my leg do a spaghetti strand? And then he's like, yo, you want a shot? I'm like, a shot? He's like, a shot of Henny? I'm like a shot? Or like a shot, like a fucking bottle to the head? He's like, no, like a shot. I didn't ask like a bottle to the head, but like, I was just like a shot. He's like, yeah, a shot. I'm like, all right, yeah, I love a shot. Sure. I'm like, would you like a joint? He's like, no. So he walks up, he's like, all right. He has the juice in his hand and the red cup and the Henny. He's like, okay, see first. He pours the shot and he gives it to me, and I put my hand on it. He's like, okay. And then pours it on the ground. He's like, okay, now gives me the Henny. Then gives me the cup again, and I, okay. And I like look at him like, you're not gonna take a shot? Okay. And I just put put the cup to my mouth and I go back to drink it, and like I could see like out of the cup, he like lunges at me like he's gonna punch me, and I go, I like put the cup down, like I'm like swallowing, like I thought you were gonna punch me. And I'm like laughing, like choking, not really choking, but just like coughing on the spicy Henny, and then it's like some of it spilled down my beard because like I pulled my cup back. Anyway, he's like, oh, we're just laughing. He's like, oh, good night, man. All right, good night, peace. And then, and like the thing was, he was, when this guy walked around the corner, I'm like, bro, it's fucking Steph is cold. It's Steph is cold. Yo, and that's why all these girls are here. Like, he's gonna give me dating advice. Anyway, so yeah, peace. He's like, I'm like, yo, are you chilling now? Like, I just want to chill. And she's like, nah, man, like, there's guys over there at the corner. They're gonna chill with you at the corner. Go. I'm like, all right. And then I just, peace. All right, peace. Yo, have a good night. Yo, you too. So I start walking, and I see a car. I see these two guys like quickly getting into a car, and they're like, yo. They're like setting something up. What the heck are these guys doing? Like the vibes are like, yo, they're making a joke. And then the car like kind of like stops there, and I'm just walking. And like now I'm finally out of the Soca area. And I'm like on the streets again. I see them, and they're both looking at me. And they're both smiling from the car. I'm like, yo, you guys chilling? And like, yo, what up, man? I'm like, they're like, yo, I'm just chilling, dude. Like, I'm high as hell and shit. Like, I got some yay I want to get rid. Oh, I threw the yay out. Like, I threw it out at some point. Because I'm just like, bro, I don't want this. It was the same guy who was like, yo, stop loitering around me, fam. I'm like, bro, okay, I'm getting rid of this right now. And I'm like going down to the sewer. I'm ducking down. And I'm looking up at him if he's looking. I'm like, he's not looking. He's just rolling his kush. And I just like drop it in. I'm like, I dropped that shit. I'm just like, I dropped that shit. So anyway, yeah, I go to those guys with the car, and I'm like, I have like these like silly, like their thoughts, but they're like, that's obviously not gonna happen. I was like, when he's like, yo, these guys at the corner, they're gonna chill with you. I'm like, am I gonna walk to the corner and just get fucking jumped? But like, I'm just like, obviously not. Like, that's not what this is. Anyway, so yeah, they're like, cause like that thought, like I don't even know why I'm like explaining I was thinking that, but like I just want to go into more detail in the story. So I'm just like, yeah, I just had like a glance thought, like, yo, imagine they jump me. But like, I'm just like, nah, like everybody's chill right now. Like I'm not being retarded. Like I'm not doing shit to get beat up. I'm just being annoying and high, but like I'm good mans. Well, don't have to call myself good mans. Anyway. So I get to the car. Are you guys chilling? Yeah, just do it out. I'm high as fuck though. What are you guys doing? I want to chill. Get in the car, man. So I get in the car, and right when I open the door, there's like this but like as I was talking to the guys in the front seat, I saw this like oddly shaped, like oddly placed blanket and sheets in the back, and it was like it looked like it was a person sitting, right? And like I saw it, I'm like. I got wind. I'm like, yo, they probably set that up, and they're gonna like make me think like I'm gonna open it and like laugh because they're gonna think a person was right there. So like whatever. So I open it and I kind of like play along. I'm like, oh. And then like they laugh like, yeah, I fucking saw it. Anyway, so then I sit in the car and like, yo, what up, man? Yo, who's your name? I'm like, I'm Devin. Yo, I'm Mike. Yo, this is Peter. And he goes, D. I'm like, Peter D. Or it's like Peter D. So then we go, and they like drive me like I'm like a stray animal. Like, you know when like a stray animal is running around your yard, and then like you catch it in a cage and like drive it really far away so it doesn't come back, like because people keep coming, or like the animal keeps coming back. Like that's what they did with me. They like drove me like somewhere, like I don't even know where we were. Like we just went some random streets in a park, and we parked somewhere where like I wouldn't be able to get back. Like I would be able to get back, but like I was pretty far. And then we got out. And like let's get out, and like there was the park entrance thing, and it's like 3 a.m. so it's like no one's there, but we just walk down a bit and we stop, and we're talking about music and shit, and he's like, I don't have any talent like that. I'm like, yeah, you do, you can if you want. He's like, nah, man. And he just like does the Nazi symbol, and I'm like, what the hell? That's the Heil Hitler. And I was like, what? And then we're about to do coke. He's like, oh, pull out your phone, man. We're about to do coke. I'm like, okay, I pull out my phone and pulls out his coke. He puts his line. He just crushes it once with the credit card. And that's it. And then just snorts it. And it's just like it made it more chunky. And then snorted it. I was like, dude, you're not going to crush that up anymore? And he just, before I could finish it. And his other friend does his line. It's like, yo, you want a line? I'm like, no, man, no, it's way too late right now. Like all right. And then his friend gets into some other van. Like, we're done our coke. First, he's like, roll this. And I'm like, it's like really dark. He's like, yo, put on your flashlights. He's like, roll this. He gives me a piece of paper in my hand, and it's like really dark. So I just feel paper. And like, I thought he was giving me a paper with like weed in it. So I take the paper, and I'm like feeling the paper. I'm like, oh, like I start like making like a wincing face. And I'm just like, he's like, roll it. And he flashes the light. I'm like, oh, and it's a $20 bill. I'm like, oh, I thought you were meaning weed. And I'm like, oh, the weed fell out. Anyway, so I roll the thing and I give it to him. And he snorts it. I'm like, and I feel in my pocket. I'm like, oh, bro, I forgot I had this. And it's my little pen that I cut in half to like make the tube. And he's like, oh, you had this. Like, anyway, whatever. So that guy, the other guy goes into another car. There was like, I guess like another car was following us. But yeah, his friend got into that other van and they drove away. So it's only just me and Mike now, and we're just talking, having a conversation about I don't know what. Kind of just like he's just like explaining like, you know, there's responsibilities, but then there's life and there's responsibilities. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because like I'm like, I just want to chill and talk to people. He's like, I know, man, like I know what you mean. And like, it's like, I gotta go now. I'm like, I know you gotta go and shit. And I'm like, I hate this part, bro. I just want to chill with you. Like, I know, man, what you mean? And they're like, can you like drive me, like, if you're going like are you going like towards Blue or Dixie? He's like, yeah. So okay, can you just like drop me off, like whatever, like just like right there, not like at Blue or Dixie, but just closer, just like wherever we have to go opposite ways. Anyway, drops me off. I'm like, yo, Mike, you want beers? It's like morning now at this point. It's light. Oh no, actually it's not light. Never mind. Nah, I think Mike was just sunny, or I was sunny, and the environment was sunny around us. Anyway, so I'm like, you want beers? These free beers? Like, you gonna leave them with me? I'm like, yeah. I don't want them, because we were drinking beers in the car first, and I gave Mike when I first got in the car, I'm like, yo, I got beers too. You guys want beers? He's like, yeah, give me a beer, man. I'm like, yo, these guys want to chill. So I give freaking Peter D a beer, and then I give Mike a beer, and he's like drinking it, and he says something to Peter D, and I'm like, oh man, I should have changed their names, but for all I know, they changed their names. Anyway, we're just gonna go with Mike and Peter D. Anyway, so I don't think they changed the names, but Peter D said first, his guy said this is D, and then he said he's Peter, so I was like, I don't know. So I look at Mike's thing, because he says something like, what the heck? And I'm like, oh crap, Mike, that's not even alcohol. It was coconut water. It was my coconut water. So then I give him a beer, and then I'm holding coconut water. I give Peter D the Coors Light vintage. It's like a yellow, Naples yellow can, tall boy. And I give Mike, I don't know what I give Mike. And then I take my coconut water back and I'm drinking it. And then I open a beer. And then like I'm also having like tiny little fractions of like, yo, maybe these guys don't really want to chill, man. Maybe they don't really want to drink my beer. Maybe they're just trying to be nice. They're like, yo, fuck this guy's beer. Because I look in my hand. I'm drinking my coconut water. And I look in my hand. And I just see coconut water and the same Naples yellow Coors Light in my right hand. I'm like looking at them both like really like confused, because I'm just like, this guy is smooth. How the heck did he put his can in my hand, like to say like, no, I don't want this beer, and like slicked it in my hand without me even knowing? This guy's a magician. And Peter D looks at me, he's like, this guy's fucked. And then I look at his hand, I'm like, oh, I see like the little top of his beer. I'm like, oh, he still has it. I was like, I'm just drinking the same beer he's drinking. And I thought he like somehow put his beer in my hand to give it back to me. Anyway, Mike drops me off and now I'm on the streets again. And now I'm alone. But I'm still busted. Not even busted. But I'm calypsoed high still. So I'm still talking to everyone I see. And it's 3 a.m. so there's not really many people. But like any car with young people in it, I'd go up to and just like, there's this one, I only interacted with 2 people. Or 5 people, because there was one car that had 4 people in it. And I went up, they were in a Burger King parking lot. And I remember I was being like, I could get like clapped right when I walk up to a car, but like I really just don't care. And at the same time, I won't, like I just won't, because like I'm not coming up evil. I'm coming up as you. I'm coming up as us. So I go, yo, what up? And they roll down the window. And I could see right when I'm walking up, they're like, oh my God. Because they think I'm probably like going to ask for money. Maybe. But who knows? Or there's like this annoying high kid. There's an annoying high kid coming up. And then we're just talking. And I'm like telling them the secrets about CBD and shit. And I'm just like, yo. I'm like high as hell and shit. Do you want joints? Do you want beers? They're like, nah, man. But like, you just want to go home. I'm like, yo. Because I was like, you guys chilling? They're like, nah, we're just going to go home. I was like, nah, hi. And the guy, no. And the guy's like, yo, do you want food or something? I'm like, oh, no. Like, I'm not homeless, but like, I don't know, do you want to get food and chill and eat? And they're just like, what? I was like, yo, sorry, bro. I'm way too high. I just want to chill with people. All right, peace, yo. Like, peace, man. Peace. Have a good night. I go. And then I see some other guy at a bus stop. I'm like, I walk right into the bus stop. I'm like, hello, sir. How was your night tonight? Would you like to hear a story about the Time Machine album I'm creating and what happened today? I was at the Soca Jam. And I was talking to this guy and he's like talking to me. And he's like, I'm like, are you waiting for a bus or something? He's like, oh, I'm waiting for the bus. All right. Okay, have a good night. And the bus came. I'm like, oh, peace. So I start walking. And I look at my map. I'm like, man, I'm walking the whole opposite direction. I'm like, oh, I guess it's over. Call an Uber. Just get home. I get in the Uber. We're driving. And this guy's playing his music off his playlist. And there's jams coming on, yeah. And I have my mask on and I'm peeking. I don't think I talked to him at all. I think at this point I was like, I'm not even talking to anyone anymore. I'm just going to listen to whatever jams this guy has on. And we're just going to chill in silence. And then I'll ask this guy if he wants a joint when he drops me off. And then you, I was like, no. And I'm like holding in my laughter because I'm like, no way, this song came on. I'm like, yo, and we're both like, yo, this song came on, yo. And I'm just like, no way, Soulja Boy up in there. I'm like, oh. Soulja Boy was the first. He was the first to do it. He was the first to do it. So anyway, we get home. I'm like, yo, you want a joint? He's like, I wouldn't mind it. Like, sick, dude. And this guy's taking a joint. Like, it all ended cool. Because like no one wanted a joint from me. But then like at the very last millisecond moment I was chilling with someone, they took a joint. So I was like, cool. Thank you for having a joint. I go inside. And I stay up all night. In bed. Smoking. Trying to go to sleep. Trying to like drench myself in CBD, drench my mouth in CBD oil to go to sleep and smoke all my joints. And I smoked them all and I'm just like still not going to bed. And it's Saturday. I sleep all day Saturday and then I get up on Sunday and I'm like, I want to go back to the studio and like put these few beers back in the fridge and just like see what's going on at that rec room. So I get home. I get to the studio and then I just go see and there's another event going on. I'm like, I walk up, I'm like, what's going on here? And like, oh, it's a flea market. I'm like, oh. And I started explaining, like, yo, because I was like here Friday and I was like lit off yayo, and I was like, and now it's like the time when you're like sketchy coming down. Well, I wasn't sketchy coming down. It's just like that, like, come down, edgy feeling. When it's like 2 days after a damn, not even a bender, dude. But like, to like someone who's doesn't do it that much. I guess that was a lot. But, and I'm just like, yeah, I just wanted to come back and like see what the fuck. He's like, oh, well, yeah, everything's cool. Have a nice night though. I don't think he even was there. I think maybe he was there, but I don't know. And then I'm just like, I still stay standing. I'm like, I'm just chilling. And then some lady comes out and is like, comes out of the front door and is like, come inside, blah, blah, needs help. And the guy leaves me. I'm like, fine, I'll go. And then I leave and I start going. And I go back home. And I have a great sleep. I wake up and I go to work. And I'm like, hey, I guess that could be a story time. Anyway, fellas, that was the story time of the Friday Soca Snow Out Blowout when DeVonQi got super high at the Soca Jam. Farewell, peoples. Beyond love. Oh yes, I forgot to say. So when I went up to the studio, I'm just expecting to, well, I'm not even expecting anything, honestly, but I'm like thinking like, I wonder what I'm going to see when I go in there. Like, I don't know. So I walk up, I open the door, and nothing's touched. So I don't know what the heck happened. I always had a knowing. Someone was like, nah, dude, that's not like, he's cool. He's just high. I'd love to go back without the blow. Anyway, I don't know when there would be another Soca Jam there or another party there. That was the first time I ever saw a party happen there. I was like, damn, of all times to just, and God was like, yo, like this super inner instinct was like, go to the studio and get your stuff right now. And I was like, nah. It's like, no, you should go. You should actually go. And it's like, nah. It's like, yo, you should go get the freaking adapter and the mic. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. I was like, okay. And I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll go tonight. That was the inner conflict going on, or the inner harmonization going on. Yeah, and then I got there and it was the freaking thing going down. Anyway, beyond love. Farewell, peoples. Beyond, yonder, not here, no now. I can see inside your head. I know what you say, but I'm thinking maybe it's just an excellent gift. Wicked, vile, vicious bliss, innocent, honestly.